for town council, and what do you want to accomplish the most while in office?
Hi, my name is James Cotter, and I'm running for Montclair Councilor-At-Large. I want to thank the Montclair High School New Jersey Democrats for hosting this forum. I'm a public school teacher myself, so I know how hard remote learning has been. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to voters, and thanks for all the organization to make this happen. So I'm going to answer 3 questions, the first of which is why I'm running for town council and what I hope to accomplish most in office. I've been a Montclair resident for 32 years, and I came to the political process through my neighborhood association. We were engaged with the township and developers on Lackawanna Plaza. And so that's a high priority for me, to be a check on development here in town. We want to make sure that any new developments that go up are in keeping with the master plan, don't put undue burdens on our infrastructure, on pedestrian safety, on traffic, on density. So we want to make sure developers are held accountable to residents. Second, affordability is a big crisis here in town. I know when I moved here 32 years ago, it was a very different place, demographically and from an affordability standpoint. So I am going to work to find creative solutions for seniors to age in place, for renters to be protected from spiraling rents, to make sure we're holding a line on property tax increases. Those are really important to me. Supporting our public schools as a public school teacher is clearly a huge goal. I'm going to work with Dr. Baskerville to choose the best people for the Board of Education. I think Dr. Baskerville is particularly holds particular expertise in this arena, and I really am excited to work with her on those selections. And then finally, to ensure inclusion here in town. Again, I come from a neighborhood association, and I want to engage more citizens to reach out to local government, to leverage the expertise that we have here in town, to really solve the problems and challenges that we're going to face in the aftermath of this COVID crisis.
Thank you, High School Democrats, for hosting this Youth and Political Forum. I would like to touch on these topics: why I am running for council, alleviating the coronavirus pandemic, and bridging the Montclair class divide. Why I am running. Beginning last March in preparation for this election, I began my listening tour. I met with over 50 community leaders to learn their thoughts on issues that Montclair may be facing. This tour reaffirmed my sense that I have what it takes to be on the town council. I am a politically moderate, pragmatic problem solver who is running for Councilor-At-Large to serve the good of all residents and businesses throughout Montclair's 4 wards. I am a business professional trained in risk analysis with an MBA in finance from New York University. I have served on the Montclair Planning Board for 4 years, consistently representing the interests of residents and local businesses. I have one son who attended Montclair schools, both public and private. Through hard work, persistence, and good fortune, I have been successful in my life, but I take to heart this wise nugget: to whom much is given, much will be required. I want to use my talents, knowledge, and time as a committed public servant for the sole benefit of Montclair, my home for the past 32 years.
Hi, this is Councilman Bob Russo, who's been serving you for a number of years as Councilman at Large and had served many years ago as First Ward Council member, and for 4 years as mayor at one time during the 9/11 crisis that we all faced, the tragedy from New York. That's prepared me to help us work through this COVID-19 financial, economic, and health crisis. I want to ask you to give me your support again to continue serving Montclair during this time that we need experienced leadership, we need some stability, and we need the kind of knowledge that I have having served during 9/11. I teach at Montclair State Political Science and Public Administration. I know how government is supposed to work and should work for you, and I want to continue applying what I teach at Montclair State and at Kane and Rutgers universities over the years to making our town a more efficient, economically stable town.
Hello, my name is Roger Terry, and I'm running for Councilor-At-Large in the Township of Montclair. I'm a lifelong resident of the Township of Montclair and an alumni of Montclair High School. My first question is, why are you running for town council, and what do you want to accomplish most in office? I believe service in the community is very important. I have devoted most of my life serving in this community. Great town, great people. I would like to continue the tradition of greatness, making Montclair a better place for all. Also giving back, seeing I grew up here, there are a lot of people that I have an opportunity to thank, and many of them I didn't have an opportunity to thank over the years. I would also like to see a community center for all the people in the community, especially the youth and the seniors.
Today, schools are shut down. All non-essential businesses are closed, and people are being forced to practice social distancing due to the coronavirus pandemic. What will you do to try to alleviate the coronavirus pandemic in Montclair, and how will you make Montclair prepared for future epidemics and pandemics?
The new council will face the unprecedented task of ensuring that our town government during this pandemic and its aftermath does all within its power to get Montclair back on its feet by its support for our small businesses, civic and cultural institutions, friends and neighbors. I am the most qualified candidate to meet this challenge head-on and without flinching at hard decisions. Halting the spread of the coronavirus and then working to mitigate its human and economic impact will be my mission. Having good data is essential to meeting this goal. Obtain the data, analyze the data, form an action plan based on this data. Information needs to be obtained from municipal managers, the outgoing council, and community and business leaders. Data analysis will help answer these vital questions. Is our hospital fully supplied and staffed to handle the diminishing crisis? If not, how can the town help? What medical and dental services are available should non-virus care be needed? To what extent can Montclairians be tested, results shared and monitored, and then actions taken? When can life resume its normal course? And what data will help us determine this date? Will the town and school budgets need to be revised, and what actions will need to be taken to meet the shortfalls in revenue? Finally, a lessons learned analysis will need to be done to understand what the town did right or failed to do during this crisis, so we can be prepared for future emergencies. Throughout this process, it is important that the public receive information on an ongoing basis from a transparent and available council. I pledge to always keep the public informed.
In crisis situations, the leaders need to stand tall to protect health of its residents. I've served with the Montclair Police Department for many years, retiring as deputy chief, where I had many hours of emergency management and situational training. With this crisis, you're going to need some trained professionals, some seasoned people to help bring our town back around, our businesses back around, and our schools back around. It's going to be a tough job, but I think that we have the team to be able to bring things back around and point things in the right direction.
First, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you about some really important issues. I want to first acknowledge everything that you must be feeling at this time. You know, people are dying, obviously, and one of the most heart-wrenching aspects of that is we can't come together to mourn their losses. Weddings are canceled. And for you all, I'm sure you feel how devastating this is to not be able to have your proms, your high school graduations, to finish out your sports seasons. All of those critical, such important things that are part of our high school experiences. I remember mine all vividly, and it was an incredible and important time in my life. So I just want to take a moment and acknowledge how hard this is for you, and acknowledge that for yourself. This is important. You need to acknowledge the loss that this is, the change that this is for you in your life too. So you've asked me about two really big things, the two existential crises that are affecting the world today, and particularly your generation for one of them. I would encourage all of you first, when it comes to thinking about this pandemic, for self-care. You know, there's that old, you remember getting on a plane and they always tell you, put your mask on before you help others. I think that's really important. Take some time to reflect inward and think about yourself and care for yourself. Make sure you're staying active. Make sure you're staying in contact with family, loved ones, and friends during the difficult time. But what's going to be important for us to move forward and recover as a community, as a state, as a country, is going to be coordination, competence in government, and coordination across all of those different levels of government. And what that looks like is Montclair reaching out to Verona and Glen Ridge and coming up with larger solutions for how we can solve some of these problems, reaching out to the state government, reaching out to the federal government, working with the private sector, working with nonprofits to figure out how do we marshal resources together to help everybody who is suffering through this crisis. So communication is absolutely key. And I don't think we've seen that in this White House. And I'm a little disappointed with what we've seen from the town as well these last couple of weeks. So first and foremost to me is communication. We've got to do a better job there.
There has been a lot of new development in Montclair and luxury apartments, but not a lot of new affordable housing projects. Would you be in favor of committing Montclair to more affordable housing? And how would you do this?
Yes, there has been a lot of construction in the township of Montclair, but most of it, I believe, has been good. I understand through my colleagues who I'm running with on the slate that they have been working tirelessly on this issue. They have made available percentages set aside for new construction for affordable housing. And to the township, the purpose is, I think, that the affordable housing is going to get better as time goes on.
The second question I want to answer is about new development in Montclair, luxury apartments and affordability. I have lived in every ward of town. I have been a renter, a homeowner, a landlord, a two-family homeowner, a single-family homeowner. So I'm intimately familiar with the crisis of spiraling rents, but also the needs of landlords to maintain their property and to make ends meet. I think we have many tools we can employ to make sure affordability is at the top of our list. A 20% allocation in any new development for affordable housing is important. I think we can think creatively about how we allocate that. Maybe some of it is for workforce housing, maybe some of it is for seniors to age in place. And then the rent stabilization guidelines that just passed, I am in full support of. I think they're a common sense solution to spiraling rents, and I'm really proud of Dr. Baskerville's leadership on that issue.
Climate change is perhaps the largest issue facing the world in the oncoming decades. Although there have been small improvements in moving Montclair to renewable energy sources, nothing has been done on a large scale. What would you do to help alleviate the climate crisis in Montclair?
Climate change. You may or may not know, I studied climate change and specifically environmental sustainability at Columbia University a few years ago. It's always been a passion of mine. I consider myself an eco-warrior. We live in a house that is very eco-friendly. Most of our furniture is made of recycled or reclaimed materials. We offset our life in terms of carbon offsets if we take a flight somewhere. We drive a hybrid. We're a 2-bicycle, 1-car household. We take reusable water bottles everywhere we go. We are just trying to live and breathe what we preach in terms of being better stewards of our environment. Climate change keeps me up at night, and it should keep you up at night. You are the ones who are going to inherit the earth that we leave to you, and it's going to take much more radical change. In Montclair government, I believe we have an opportunity to set an example for municipality. What can we test and learn here in Montclair that could potentially be applicable to other towns and other governments around the country and around the world in the long term? Think of that. We're such a progressive, forward-thinking community with so many people who are interested in engaging on this topic and learning more and believe in it, that want to come together and find solutions. So what are the things that we can pilot and learn and test together here in town that potentially become models to use elsewhere? That's what excites me.
We need continuity and stability at this very time of crisis. And you know, environmental issues are really part of what this is all about. And what I want to focus on, as I did many years ago, is helping get us off fossil fuels. We've got a great it's a ban on plastic bags, but more than that, we have the environmental committee and the environmental focus that Montclair has always been a leader in, that we have to continue. When I was mayor, we started to use natural gas automobiles. We used vehicles that didn't produce any pollution. It was an environmental experiment, and Montclair was the leader in that in the 2000s, the early 2000s. We got a grant for 6 natural gas vehicles, and that gave Montclair a leadership role, which I also espoused, using solar energy on all of our school buildings. We never really finalized that, but it was a commitment I had made at that time, and I attended the Solar Cities Conference with Mayor Jerry Brown of Oakland. We tried at that time to really move Montclair in the direction of solving our environmental problems that are worldwide.
Climate change is not just a local issue, but a global problem. Being a huge believer in renewable energy, I would like to see the continued use of solar panels, the existing and application on our schools and government buildings, and I would also like to see windmills installed in various locations in this community. I would hope to see the use of affordable electric vehicles. Thank you very much, and hopefully I can count on your vote.
You said that you want to continue the, quote, progressive and stable government and fiscal policies started several years ago by the current mayor and council, end quote. But many people are concerned that not nearly enough has been done. How would you expand on the work of the previous council and mayor?
Now, my major concern is that Montclair stays united and that we communicate among our various diverse communities. We cannot have division at a time of crisis like this. And I want to see us reinstitute what we did at that time, which was the Conversations on Race program, which helped us unite our community. That's a good idea to reinstate now as we try to fight racism and division that is occurring among us. I think we've done a great job with our infrastructure. We've done a great job the last 8 years controlling our debt, making our economic situation much better. We've invested in our infrastructure, and we've also reduced our debt. It's a tremendous achievement. I've observed this over the years. We've got contracts with our employees. This is a great achievement also of our management, that we have 7- and 8-year contracts with all our employees. As a teachers union leader in the college level, AFT, I know how important it is for our employees to have stability and a contract that's multi-year, and that's good for our taxpayers. It's good for our town's management. We've got so many great things we can look to in Montclair as achievements. I want to just continue working on these issues from the experience I've had as both being a councilman in the ward, a councilman at large, and as mayor at one time during that crisis of 9/11. I'm asking you to really see the experience that I have as a value to Montclair, something that I can continue to apply. Our rent control ordinance that we just dealt with, the crisis of affordability of people not being able to stay in Montclair, especially seniors and working families. These are all issues I'd like to deal with in the coming years, and I've asked for people to allow me a chance to continue to serve as councilman at large in Montclair. Thank you.
Seems to be a large class divide in Montclair between wealthier and lower income groups. How would you bridge this gap and ensure that Montclair supports both groups of
And the
people?
third question is about the class divide here in town. I think that is both an existential and a practical issue. Socioeconomic diversity is what makes Montclair unique and an attractive place to live. So there's many new people to Montclair, but Montclair is not a new place. It's a it's a thriving, unique community. I think that we need to balance the need for growth and change with a respect for people who have lived here for a long time. There's lots of history that people don't know about. I think we can encourage civic and cultural participation. We could do so through, encouraging people to attend the African American Heritage Parade, the 4th of July Parade, the numerous activities we have here in town. When we bring together people from all different backgrounds, socioeconomic, racial, and otherwise, Montclair really becomes a place that's special and unique here in New Jersey. Thanks again to the Montclair High School New Jersey Democrats. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to Montclair voters, and I thanks again. Bye.
Bridging the class divide. One step to bridge the class divide is to maintain an excellent school system that is attractive to families of all classes. Our schools are a place where people of different means interact. Students from different backgrounds learn from each other and about each other in and outside the classroom. This insight into the lives of people different from us can be eye-opening for both wealthy and less advantaged students. Expanding the availability of affordable housing options throughout the town may also help bridge the class divide. People of varied means would have the opportunity as neighbors to get to know each other. The arts and cultural events supported by the town foster interaction between all economic, ethnic, and social and cultural groups. These should be widely advertised, have varied offerings, and all folks encouraged to share these experiences together. Interaction among our religious institutions can bring us together, such as occasionally attending each other's worship services, volunteering on a shared project, having a meal together, or participating in a family game night. My allotted 4 minutes are up. For more information on my positions on issues, please visit my website, www.carmellockman.org. Thank you very much.